Tonight we're learning Ethel Kennedy, the widow of Robert F. Kennedy, died at the age of 96.
The longtime human rights advocate was hospitalized after suffering a stroke last week. ABC's John Carl has recovered on her life and legacy.
Ethel Kennedy's life was marked by a tireless dedication to service, resilience, and tragedy. She was part of America's most powerful political dynasty. Ethel forged a relentless path on her own as a human rights advocate, fighting against poverty with leaders like Coretta Scott King, and championing the work of those standing up for human rights around the world. She was born Ethel Skakel in 1928 in Chicago, Illinois, the daughter of a former railroad clerk who gained his fortune building his own company. As a student at Manhattanville College in New York, she shared a room with Gene Kennedy. Ethel was 17 years old when she met Gene's brother Robert on a skiing vacation.
He was standing in front of an open fireplace, and I just turned around. I walked in the door and turned and saw him. I thought, whoa.
Ethel and Robert married in a lavish ceremony 5 years later. They eventually settled in a Washington, D.C. suburb and started a family.
When other mothers were taking their children to the playground to make castles in the sandbox, to ride on the seesaw, to climb the jungle gym, my mother brought my brothers and I to the Senate Racket Committee hearings.
Her first foray into politics came when Gene brought her to Boston to work on her brother John F. Kennedy's 1946 House campaign. In 1961, she stepped further into the national spotlight when her husband Robert became the Attorney General in his brother's administration. 4 years after his successful Senate bid, Robert ran for president on a platform of social justice.
Thank you very much.
They hit the campaign trail again. Ethel once again at his side as they racked up primary victories.
My wife Ethel, who's, as all of you know, has made such a major difference in this campaign and a major difference for me.
He was there at the Ambassador Hotel celebrating his primary win in California, and then he was killed.
My thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you very much.
Shot just moments after giving his victory speech. Ethel turned personal tragedy into action, dedicating her life to carrying on the work her husband started. She established the Robert F. Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights, a nonprofit promoting social activism and other causes championed by her late husband.
Ethel, the light of his life, who stood with him on countless platforms and around the nation and around the world.
And she continued to fight for human rights issues on her own. She sought no accolades for her work, instead focusing on highlighting the accomplishments of others. President Obama honored Ethel Kennedy in 2014 with a Presidential Medal of Freedom for her lifetime commitment to service and justice.
She has touched the lives of countless people around the world with her generosity and her grace.